Hello, hello, hello. At this point, it's like I'm hearing David Goggins in my ear asking me who's going to carry the boats. And I'm just like, well, I don't have anyone else. So we're here. And it might be another short one, but we're here. I think every day can't be perfect. But if every day is done, then we're on our way. Full disclosure, I'm having dinner at the same time. Because it's like I got back from the gym not long ago. I haven't got time. So it's got to get done. So, excuse me. Well, I did say on the fairness. Sorry. Not sorry. I'm here. Okay. Last week was a bit of concatenation, a bit of defining conditions for selling a weapon if you have all the weapons. And then also, I guess before that, we looked at the functionality of the bioweapon function. So I'm going to go back to see what's next. Cool. So we're going to use again some compound assignment. Wait, what? This is the problem with leaving these so late. My head stops working. Okay, so I think, because literally my head is not working, I can't, like in my head, I can't, I'm reading it but it's not making sense. So I believe what they're asking is that we use this compounded assignment thing to add this. So you sold a weapon, and we are then saying we're giving them an update on their inventory. But we want inventory to string, so and then we also want another full stop. Alright, so the brain is not working, but hey, we're getting there. Use an else statement to run when inventory length is not more than 1. So it says don't sell your only weapon. Okay, so if inventory.length is greater than 1, then we can. Otherwise, and I've started doing this now because I know this works, and so I can just copy that and expect it to work. Cool. So it's interesting that we can do that with text or inner text. And again, so we could test it out. I don't want to test it out because last time we had to test it out with changing lots of bits and bobs, and I don't want to do that. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Cool. Okay. I'm gonna fight the monsters. And guess actually before I jump into that, it'll probably be a good exercise to see if I can start thinking of what sort of algorithm would be useful under these circumstances. Before, this is so bad, I'm so sorry. But before actually reading what they're giving me, it comes back to this idea of exercising the head, and sort of trying to figure it out, and in that struggle, I'm creating anchor points for the information that they do give me. Because it's like I've struggled to think of an algorithm that I could use, and then when they give me the algorithm, I'm like, oh, okay, this is where I went wrong, that's where I went wrong, that's where I went wrong. And what that ends up doing is reinforcing my understanding of the algorithm, because I think that struggle, and this is me speculating here, but I imagine the struggle triggers the body to say, remember this, remember, especially like the struggle followed by the solution, probably triggers the body to go like, remember this, because here you struggled, and this was the solution to it. And it's also probably why I guess, and like I'm speculating here, and it's probably not even worth it, but I think that's probably why we tend to remember the solutions to problems we faced as opposed to just hearing it from someone else. Like if someone else has gone through something, we might learn it. But then when we've gone through something, I feel like we learn that even more deeply. Maybe this is just me like at 11:40 going crazy, but cool. To keep your code organized, your fight dragon has been moved for you to be near the other fight functions. So fight dragon, I imagine we'd probably, so I actually don't know that much about role-playing games, but we'd probably want to do something that gives us opportunity to decrease the health, that gives us opportunity to attack, and we'd probably want our attacks to be based in some way off of the weapons. So we know that our weapons have a certain power, and so we probably want to use that in determining, how we deal damage to our dragon. And so damage to a dragon will just be dragon health minus power, and then damage to us will be health minus damage to us, whatever capacity. So cool. Alright, let's see. Now below your weapons array, define a monsters variable. Cool. So we now have a monsters variable, and I'm going to say const for monsters, and that's going to be an array, but it's an array of objects. And as you know, I love my copy and paste, and I know that each object is going to have a name, a level, and health. Okay. And I'm going to repeat this 3 times. Now, first one, name is slime. Which is going to be a string. Probably should have done that as well. We'll do now. Level is going to be 2. Health is going to be 15. Second one is going to be a fanged beast. Level 8. Health 60. And the last one's going to be a dragon. 20. 300. I think this is the right format. Probably want to stick a semicolon there, and I'll just reference in my const weapons because I already have a array of objects, so I can refer to that, and that should be cool. Fighting each type of monster we use similar logic. Create an empty function called go fight. Okay. That's a horrible way of doing it because it's supposed to be function. Go fight. And at present is empty, so that will suffice. In your fight slime function, set fighting equal to 0. Fighting. Have we got something called fighting? Have we got we haven't got, oh, we have got fighting. We just created fighting as its own thing, so, okay. Fighting equal to 0. Yeah. So that's why I went to check. Was we already declare it? And at this point, it's at least 13 days ago that we did declare it. So I didn't remember. But cool. So fighting is equal to 0. Okay, this is my head not working. I need to call go fight. So, yeah. You should call the go fight function. Oh, this is why you copy and paste from. Again, capitalization got me, which I guess a text editor would have helped me get around, but I should get in the habit of doing things properly. Following the same pattern, use that code and fight beast and fight dragon. Alright, that beast is at index 1 and dragon I also removed console log. Okay, so we don't need this anymore, and we're saying, yeah, fighting the beast, and fighting is equal to 1. And I guess what we don't benefit from here is seeing the thinking behind this, because fighting 1 and go fight, it's not intuitively obvious why. And that's why I was trying to think through the algorithm beforehand. And I'm sure we'll figure it out. And, once we learn it here, we can then apply it elsewhere. But there was some planning, there was some thinking that went behind how to do the algorithm, as it were, or the patterns. So it would have been nice to see that. But I guess if we learn how to do it here, we can figure it out, and then go and do it elsewhere. That's not what I wanted. The idea of like putting stuff into arrays and objects and all of that, I don't know how they came to these conclusions. And it would have been good to see, but alas, I guess we would be able to do it. Okay, let's see. Even the idea of an attack being its own function and a dodge being its own function. I guess you think through what you want to do in your game, or you think through what you want your program to do, and you consolidate functionality. So various things that you want to do in a role-playing game. An attack will be its own function. A fight will be its own function. And a fight will be a function that probably calls attacks and dodges. And if this was a card-playing game, then draw would be its own function. Distribute cards would be their own function. And so we're narrowing down functionality to singular bits or singular blocks of code that deal with this functionality, and then we can sort of slot them in as we go, which makes sense in my head as I'm talking about it. So function, attack, empty presently. And again, I really do like this idea of empty functions, because then it's like, well, I know I want to do an attack, and I can create an empty function almost as a placeholder and say, well, we'll deal with the functionality of it, later. But we know we want a function here that does this. And I'm just doing it on single lines because I'm at this point I understand how to what they're looking for in order to pass the test, and so I can just do that as opposed to having to write it fully every single time. And I guess you start doing that when you start coding a lot more with editors. You start figuring out what's the shortest amount of words you can write in order to get what you need to get done, or in order to let the editor sort of finish it for you appropriately and get you where you need to be. So yeah. So I made a mistake there, and despite changing the name on the right object, I changed the button text and functionality on the wrong one. and instead of rewriting, I'm just cutting and pasting accordingly. Sorry, I didn't change that to 5. Minor things like this, man. Minor things like this. So you notice I put a comma at this one, at the end of this object, because there's now another one. I don't need a comma at the end of the last one. It's just a minor thing that I think might easily be missed. That was an intentional thing. I want to revise how my update function works. So I know I pass it something. Where is it? Excuse me. Yo, today must be the worst stream I've ever done. But alas, I apologize. Cool. So update takes location. Around that relocation 3. Locations. Cool. Alright. I'm gonna do this tomorrow. Thank you for rocking me. If you have, and stay consistent, people, and you will achieve whatever you set your mind to.